fighting others to buy stock, and other people will see it and they'll run in front of it. That's how it happens. Anything else, William?
They're saying my stream wasn't working, so I've been trying to fix that. No,
are you back up? You're okay?
It seems to be up. It seems to be up. It said no video, no. I don't understand. It's just, I'm out of practice, I guess. It looks like it's fine. It looks like it's fine.
Again, I'll put together GTII. I'll get the information as best I can. I'll try to compile it over the next couple of days. All right, everyone, just keep posting any comments you have from your brokerage firm. So I'll work on that. But right now, I'm sitting here trying to get to the bottom and find people that have lent out their shares to call them in. We're trying to find out if the Univest is actually doing what we're hearing they've done. And by the truck in front of the SEC conference, something's going on. Something strange has happened. The law enforcement, somebody's knocking on someone's door, because this stock has a completely different look than a few days ago.
Well, I think the change in House speakership, I know that's stretching it, but I think that's going to be a big difference. He's ready, I think, to look at a new issue of this magnitude with honest eyes. So, yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe the regulators are catching on. I think they've known all along, though.
I know they know, but I'm just saying that they can't just sit here and do anything anymore. It's too exposed, and basically the problem is just so great now, and they have to let people they have to start getting these people to start covering in all names. All right, and you can look at it. For example, I'll just use the big name for a second. Goldman Sachs, they were beating this stock down to, where is it down to? It was 280 something. They turned around, they stopped buying it. It's up $10. These are squeezes. People aren't running to buy Goldman. The banks are falling apart, and you can see what happens. This is what happens in these big names. Look at Tesla. They smoked that one down to 191 today. It bounces back. So another day or two, this thing will turn, and like anything else. But Elon should be doing something to help out his shareholders. I actually called him a dope today, but again, that's true. Why isn't he fighting for everybody else? He's the richest man in the world. Not everybody else is.
Not for long, he isn't.
Yeah, they know that he has to pay for these transactions, so they drive the stock down and give him margin calls.
Yeah.
That means he has to sell stock. Whatever he's doing.
Yeah.
So to allow them to continue to do that to him, he's basically a buffoon to allow that to happen.
Yeah.
And I don't know why he does. Because he's the one guy in the world that can make this end, and he can do it. Because if he opens his mouth, everyone listens.
Yeah.
And he doesn't do it. Same for Gates, same for Buffett. They all keep their mouth closed, these guys.
Yeah. The stock's over 6, so you have your magical effect.
Yeah, just what I want. A magical effect. I could go from $5.98 to $6. That's just what I want to happen. I want to waste 12 hours a day watching the stock go up 2 cents.
Yeah.
This is a disgrace. That the stock is even here. They have these guys. They haven't bought back a share. All right. And to allow this to go on, it's a waste of everyone's life on this phone call to sit here. This is not Wall Street. This is like a casino.
Yeah.
You have to sit here. We have to, I said it to a guy the other day. When you bought the stock, did they tell you how to fight every day to fight for your investment? No one's ever done that before. And, I'm proud that the people are standing up and fighting back to help expose the fraud. So it's great. I'm hoping everyone understands it. I tell you all the time, if you get your money and you're happy, run away. Don't think you're coming back into this game.
I think that's right. If you get a winning trade, don't just start following every new idea that pops up like a bouncing ball. I mean, just take your profits. And this is worse than the casino. The casino, your odds aren't zero. Your odds here, it's zero. You're not going to win here.
I always say, at least in the casino, I get a free drink. Over here, you get nothing. They just take your money and they spin the wheel and just say you lose. It's like the Three Stooges.
And you lose track of time.
Right. That's exactly. That's what I've always told everyone. And I told that to Honor a long time ago. I said, hey, once you get in this fight, it consumes you. You can't stop. And the more you know, the worse it gets, and time flies by. MMTL people, time is flying by. It's over a year, correct?
Yeah.
So, I mean, just look how Wall Street tries to smother things. Look what they're doing to Credit Suisse. They shut it down due to fraud, everything about it. And what did they do? They sealed it for 50 years, meaning everybody on this phone call will be dead before you get to see what happened to Credit Suisse. They didn't hide it because it was good. They're hiding it because it was massive fraud.
Yeah.
All right. And you know that it's leading to counterfeit shares, and that's what we've been fighting to expose. So anyone on this call, I know you think it's crazy, but we're fighting so you can save yourself, your kids, your grandkids, your future, because they've been doing this for so long, and you keep thinking it's a joke. And people keep saying to me, well, when's it going to go? I've been here 4 months. Well, you know what? I can't tell you when it's going to go. We're fighting criminals. All right. If you don't want to be part of the fight, then you have to leave. I can't help you with that. There's nothing I can do. But I told you before, the fight is about the risk reward, and this is a life-changing event. And you have all the information. The short squeeze site is showing you, I don't know the name of the site. They're showing you that it's one of the top stocks that's going to get squeezed. And, so much data, proof, everything is showing you everything that's going on here. And that's how you base your investments on. Base it on data and information and proof, not just rolling the dice. All right. So the stock popped above 6 to 604 William, and someone remarkably has come back with 1,200 shares to sell at 6 again.
Well, what we're good at is selling.
Right. They're excellent at doing that. They know. I think all their buttons on their computer just sell. That's all it is.
And if we don't have shares, we sell. And if we can't locate, we sell. And if we get in trouble, we call up the SEC, we settle and sell. It's just all about selling.
Right. But I keep trying to get that guy savvy, Hal Mintz. The guy swiped all that money, got caught for a naked short selling scheme, and the SEC charged him a couple of $1 million. Meanwhile, the guy owns a $10 million condo in one of the most exclusive places in Miami, and no one's ever questioned him. DOJ should be there dragging him out by his hair. All right, that's how much money. If he bought a condo for $10 million, he stole 50. All right, because you need money to back up that purchase. So again, that's why these guys buy homes down there, because they want to hide it and not lose it, because they protect your houses down there.
Well, and they deserve it with the quality of selling they've done and liquidity they've provided. They deserve homes.
Well, the one thing that people don't understand, when they get busted as a bad actor and banned, they always sneak back in doing it someplace else under someone else's name. The SEC, they have no clue what they need to say. If you ever get caught again, you're going to jail for 10 years. So when we ban you, if you come back out again and we catch you in any shape or form attached to anybody someone who's doing this stuff, whatever it may be, 10 years minimum, no ifs, ands, or buts. That's what they need to say. And that'll get rid of the second-time offenders, because they want nothing to do with that getting caught again.
Yeah. 3 strikes, you're out.
No, it's got to be 2 strikes. I posted the gentleman from GameStop who worked at Morgan Stanley, who works for Share Intel, and he said he naked shorted every day. The video's right there. I told Mark Falk, call him up and ask him, who did you naked short for every day? Give up the name of that client. Why not? Correct? You want to know who's a naked short? Point them out. Give them up.
Well, exactly.
I always tell you,
stop
Johnny
being
Tobacco.
so courteous to these gentlemen. They're thieves.
Right. They paid your commission. We all got it. Say, listen, I did it for commission. You're honest about it. Now give us the final part of that. Who'd you do it for? Give up the name. Because when the DOJ and the Secret Service get him, all right, they're going to go from him to who taught you how to do it, to this guy, to the next guy. What brokerage firm is the easiest to do it through? This guy. Go to Wainwright, go to Wedbush. They allow anything. Go to Benchmark. They allow you to naked short at these firms. They know they get caught, they pay a fine. Counterfeit, all of them. You know, even Interactive Brokers got fined, naked short selling. So the gatekeepers on this need to go down and point them out. That's it. Johnny Tobacco knows all the stock loan guys on the street. The SEC is going after stock loan. They're targeting it. Who are the bad guys? Tell us who's the good guys and who are the bad guys. You know them all. Right? If you work in that industry, you have to know the players in there. It's a small community.
How is this guy Mintz still walking around?
Oh, he's been walking around. He's in a beautiful condo.
I mean, it says here, I mean, the SEC knows. The defendants, Mintz being one of them, knew or were reckless in not knowing all along the use of converted shares. In other words, those convertible notes to cover their sales would not and did not in any way cure their violative trading.
Right. Well, that happens in all secondary stocks. I always posted that up there. These guys do secondaries, and they'll call up like Millennium Capital, Izzy Englander. He's a $10 billion fund now.
Yeah.
I wonder how Izzy went from being a option specialist to running a $10 billion fund on Wall Street and be a very prestigious money manager. Was he right 99% of the time, or did he took advantage of naked short selling like everybody else has? That's my guess.
Ding, 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 ding.
That's how they all got it. And all of a sudden, they're running $10 billion now, and they are prominent guys on Wall Street. Now they have people trading bonds and doing this, and they're wonderful now. And that's how they all do it. Go from nothing to $10 billion.
And then you can be a big shot. You can have research, analysts, deal flow.
That's how they do it.
But it's all based on stealing.
Right. Well, again, just look at Lynn Partners. The gentleman Hancock out of Australia put it in a magazine, in a newspaper article.
I know.
His global fund is up 220%. His Lynn Partners global fund. Every stock that Lynn invested in is a zero, and he's up 220%. Well, if he's got his greedy fingers still attached to Lynn and this stock,
well, he's got his name out there still. I was wrong, and if I were he, I would remove myself from Lynn as fast as I could, but he's not worried. There's no fear here. There's just no fear. And this is Gensler, who in my judgment, lies when he says that he'll root out fraud wherever it exists. I think he's been on the job long enough to prove that that's just not the case. He has no intention of rooting out securities fraud in the settlement and location.
Either that or he doesn't understand securities fraud.
Well, that's possible. I mean, he did. It's possible. I mean,
someone just put up that the United States SEC versus Alpine has been extended to November 29th. 30 more days.
Well, they need it.
Vanessa Countryman, the same person again.
Vanessa Countrywide.
It's remarkable that continues. How could you, like criminals, they are doing something to hide something that is, obviously we know what it is.
You know it. You know it. You've said it all along. It boils down to they do not want discovery. If they let Anna prove that mmlp had naked shorts, or Dave Fez, if they had him prove it, they're out of business. If you prove Finger has it, they're out of business. So they got to ridicule us and come after us. But
so that's what they do. They ridicule us, they come after us, and that's what they try to do.
yeah,
It's really amazing that they continue to try it. They think that we're all stupid, and we educated everybody. And listen, they scare people out all the time. That's what they try to do. And again, Mark Bazile is a bulldog, and he's going after Capybara, and he's going to go after Benzinger. And eventually, I get this feeling that he'll be going after Lynn as an unregistered toxic lender, excuse me. So again, these are things that take time, but he's doing everything in his power to expose these criminals.
See, I was wrong about Hal Mintz. He's 52 years old as of...
That bag of shit is 52 years old?
Yeah, that's what it says. Hal D. Mintz, 52, resident of Miami.
Just everybody on the phone knows he's been enjoying a great life as a 52-year-old bag of shit while he's stealing everybody's money. All right? He's been going to Knick games, doing this, doing everything he can do, enjoying life. Walking around Wall Street is always a big shot. And meanwhile, he's just a thug. There you go.
Miami, Florida, and also Saddle River, New Jersey.
All right.
So I guess he's one of those snowbirds.
Saddle River, New Jersey. He's probably living in a cardboard box, and he has all his money hidden and down in Miami. So if anyone wants to take anything from him, they'll give up the house in Saddle River, and he'll live down in Miami for free with the $10 million condo.
They did a cease and desist proceeding against Sabi 2015, and they imposed the order. And of course, he disgorged 184,000 and 91,000. Wow, that really hurt him. But it didn't stop him.
Then he went right back to doing it.
Yeah.
Think about that. He went right back to committing more fraud.
He started the Sabi Healthcare Master Fund.
Right.
Cayman Islands, 2011, 400 million in gross asset value.
400 million.
400 million. I mean, I know how easy it is to raise 400. Just open up. We'll raise 400 million.
Wow. I didn't realize that.
Most recently, it had 16 million with 28 beneficial owners.
Well, the 400 million is down to 16 million.
Maybe. I don't, that's one way to read it.
Sounds to me like they cut up after they robbed everybody, the gang cut up the money and just ran away.
Right.
And some people left some money in there, but for the most part, they all said, hey, give me my money back. Let's get out of here. I gave you 5 million. You gave me back 20. I'm good. See you later. Good luck.
He started the Sabi Volatility Warrant Master Fund in the Cayman Islands, 2011.
It's funny that someone put up the other day, William, when you're going around in the Cayman Islands, everyone uses the same place as an address. I don't forget how many.
I've been there. I went in there.
They have all these addresses. Everyone uses the same address. Lynn is there. I think the Kramers.
Yeah, I went there. Years ago. I went in when I thought I was a big shot. I'll open up what were we thinking, Ham? Why didn't we just set up a freaking offshore account, get all these people and start selling things and just shorting? We'd be rich.
Like I said, just get us one rat to give us the introduction to the prime brokers. That's all you need. We need to get one rat to walk us into a prime broker. Then we can set it up. Listen, I'll be the first guy to go destroy things for you. I'll be good at it. Trust me.
So his warrant fund had 60 million in gross asset value. At its most recent public disclosure, it was 182 million, 73 beneficial owners, and he owned 40.
You know how much money this?
He owns 40% of it. The bastard.
They stole so much money. I don't even understand how no one's locked these guys up already. That's how much money they've stolen.
Yeah, this is an SEC. The SEC wrote this up. They know what's going on.
Right. And there's over 6,000 people signed a petition to have them looked at. They put it up there many days. They all knew. Every investor knew. before the SEC
And
grabbed
Gary
this guy.
Gensler walks away.
And they all knew, everyone said, get this guy, he's no good. And they let him go on for years stealing money. Not only did that, he stole the money, and now he's not even going to jail for it.
Hey,
I like to see his investments in his master, whatever, biotech firm, whatever the hell that was. I forgot what he said, healthcare, whatever it was.
I just read about 2 cease and desist orders. It says here he's recidivist, so I'm sure there were more. But, you know, he's a white guy. He's not going to have to follow that 3 strikes you're out.
No, I know plenty of white guys that want to, who got ripped off, don't want to hear that shit anymore.
Exactly.
No one cares what color you are.
I agree with that. But
I don't care about anything.
But the Maxine Waters runs the frickin' thing. And if she really wants to get after what seems to motivate her, I guess right now she's the ranking member. It's one topic she understands. But you're right.
Enough. Just grab them, lock them up. Grab Savvy, take his assets, take everything away from him, lock him up, and tell him he has 2 minutes to give up everybody else. You watch how fast he starts talking.
Waterboard him. No, I hate waterboarding. But, man, he'd give up the ghost. He'd give it all
hang
up.
him upside down and cane him like they'll beat his feet.
Hang him upside down on his yacht and start going slowly through shark waters. Throw some chum out there. See how long
you're getting good at this, William.
see how long he swings there without giving it up.
Listen, everyone, you just heard William's dark side. He wants to drag people in shark-infested waters. I just want to beat their feet. I want to throw them in the water with the sharks, with chum. William, I'm with you. I'm sick of it, and we're doing everything we can. I told you we had found 42,500 shares. We called in today. If Univest does call in their loaned out shares, it could take a day or two, and before the shorts they're going to be crying, and they'll offer anything to keep those shares. So the rate will probably go back up. I don't know if they show it or that's a private transaction, but I'm sure that if they're calling it in, it's going to be brutal because they have to stop buying it. You know, I in my own gut, this is my opinion, everybody. I can see this thing starting to gap shortly because it's popping out all over the place. It's on the short squeeze stock. We're like number 25, like I said, 95.6%, 60%. Yeah, it only can go to 100, and it's popping up there. And I don't know whatever they're basing it on there, but they obviously do some good work because they've been in business for a while. And people follow it on Wall Street. People look for these things. When they see something moving up like that, it doesn't take much for a fund to sit here and say, hey, you know what, I'm going to buy this one because this one looks great on the charts. It's got a big short. And I checked out on Twitter, and there's a mental patient called Ham that thinks it's 200 million more naked short. You know,
one gentleman wants to know, using his language, with Finger, they pulled the rug at 8, they pulled the rug at 7, and they seem to be protecting 6. Is this saying something? Is it getting too close to comfort, too close to their breaking point for Finger?
I don't know what the hell that means, but at any given time,
I'll read it out. Ham, thoughts?
No, I got it. He says 8, 7, you know, as they keep going on, the cost of listen, if they piled in 3.6 or 3.3 million shares on the borrowed shares, they're telling you they have a huge problem. There's your sign. They're giving it to. They piled in, and to make it more interesting, they gave us 3 fake reports, right? 1 death threat, 3 fake reports, 3 bear raids. They're telling you they're in trouble, but everybody here knows it. We all know that they're in trouble. It's not rocket science. As we can see, they're borrowing. Everyone's posting the borrow rate. Okay, you can't pay that much money. They're losing on 3.3 million shares. If they're short at $5, let's get the average right there. Every 20 days, they lose $1, probably $1.30 with other costs incurred. So in 5 months, they lose everything. It's not even worth being short anymore. So that real short is going to basically, he's running for the hills shortly. On top of that, he can't even stay short.
Did you see that Timothy Yikes spoke at that conference?
I don't know what conference he was at. I saw the thing. I don't know.
Oh, maybe he wasn't. Maybe it wasn't the same conference. Okay.
He wasn't at the SEC enforcement conference. Yeah.
Oh, no. All right. I must have been in the middle of my delirium.
I had a couple of guys that would love to drag him by his hair, because he did his bear raid on GTII and bragged about it. He looks like the type of guy that's part of this crew, and they short and distort, and they work as a team. And he's the front guy saying he shorted 1,000 shares. Meanwhile, there's someone who he's standing up in front of for some hedge fund, maybe like a Savvy or Lynn or somebody or Kramer's. And they pay him for bashing the stocks. And they bring the people. He's the front guy, and he's the one that yells and takes credit for it. And if anyone knocks on his door, he said, "Hey, I just shorted 1,000 shares. Here's my account." Meanwhile, he's sitting with cash, Rolexes on a private plane. Sure, he's not doing anything stupid, right?
It's unbelievable. This I don't think you realize that. I don't think people realize how stupid this all is. It's just stupid. It could be stopped by enforcing the existing regulations. Just locate a share, one share.
When you see Gensler speaks and he tap dances around the whole subject, I can't even listen to him anymore. He gets me dizzy.
He moves everything, and he overwhelms you with how smart he is. He's a Bill Clinton mini-me. But
that's a good one. But again, listen, everyone, we report the data as we see it. We report the short. People are posting up all day long the borrow rates. It's all out there. You know who the short is. You know it's tied to. It's right here. The SEC is going after stock loan. The SEC is turning the screws slowly on these guys and trying to. And basically, I think what they're telling me is, hey, if you can kill them, kill them. We're not gonna stop it. You do what you have to do. That's what they're saying. That's what I see.
That's a change in what you've been saying, and it's very interesting.
Well, we've had the truck out there 12 times. If they wanted to, they could sit there and say, all right, these two mental patients, they're here. They put the truck out here, them and their cohorts. They just make a noise that doesn't exist, right? They could have shut us down if we were wrong.
Yeah.
Or they would have said something. They never said anything in 3 years. They know it's true. That's why they never said anything. It's right there. You can't be more abusive than we've been.
Very interesting.
We've called them out. We were at the SEC enforcement conference. That was $1,000 a plate. Everyone in there was some form of enforcement or an attorney that actually works with the SEC or does work with the SEC or does work keeping their clients out of jail. I mean, that was an enforcement conference. That wasn't the SEC building. Like, for example, we don't even know if anybody's in that building, the SEC building. But if anyone's at this conference, they all got our brochure, our handout. The truck is right there. You tell me you could miss the truck? Mark Bazile took a great picture of him standing near the truck. Then he took a great picture of Gary Gensler walking by the truck. Remember, people, this wasn't a protest we stand with signs all day long. We were there to get what we had to get done and leave. We weren't there to spend our whole life sitting outside waiting for Gary Gensler in the street. He just happened to walk by when Mark Bazile was there, and he took a photo of him, and he even posted what he said. What are you going to do about the naked short selling in Finger? He asked him point blank. All right, so again, you can't get any. They know all about us. They know everything that's going on here. Something is going on. Someone got a call, maybe a broker. They called a broker up and said, "Hey, do you have fails to deliver in this name? Something. We want information about this." Something is going on. It's very different. And to me, you have a company that has fundamental value. It's proven and shows you that it's growing. What's the race to sell it? I don't see any race to sell it. So again, if the stock was 20, I would be talking very different to you and say, hey, it's very dangerous up here. But down here, the company's worth anywhere between $5 and $10. I don't know where it's worth. And here, benchmark said it was 5. That was before the revenue jumped from 4 to 9 million, right? So based on the revenue going from 4 to 9, if benchmark were to do another report, we'd have to go from $5 target to somewhere between 8 and 10, right? A big jump. The stock said 6. What's the panic? There's no panic here. And then you add in that now you got the company fundamentals that are strong. Then you add in that they borrowed shares, 3.3 million shares. Then you get to see that it's on the top of a short squeeze site. Then you get to see this. You get to see, I mean, it's all right there. I mean, just how much more can you do? You know, people are trying to say, where are you going to put the truck next? Where do you want me to put it? I don't know. Who are we going to put it on the moon? What do we have to do? Let's go protest outside the Apple headquarters. I don't know. Warren Buffett's house. I don't know. It's insane. I couldn't tell you where to go next. If you have an idea, please post it. Let us know. I have no problem going to go raise money and get it done again. Again, this is not, it's an expensive thing to do. We helped raise the money for the movie, which they're working on now. They did their interviews with everyone. Now they're putting it together, and you know what? We'll see what comes out of it. That's it. We know finger motion is going to be in there, right? They did this crime perfectly as they were doing the interviews in New York. We got to show them the data in real time. Not a company that was naked shorted in 300 days ago, 500 days ago, whatever it may be. This is real time. And the best part about it, they interviewed Mark Bazile, and Mark Bazile is handling finger motion against Capybara, and the Capybara report was handed to Mark Bazile because I know I gave it to him, and I showed him the damage from 7 down to 456. All right. That was $2.50. The company has 50 million shares total. Think about that. It's $100 and something million crime. It's all right there. Any other questions, William?
No, I don't. I'm not being as lively as I could be, but.
No, listen. Again, we recapped everything. I told you I would start working on the GTI to get that information about the dividend. And I told everyone, once these idiots fold in finger motion, which they will.
We should all send Hal D. Mintz a Christmas card or whatever card is appropriate. Here's his address, 7012 Fisher Island Drive.
Let's just send them a big bag of shit. Everybody send them a bag of shit. I mean, listen, that guy's going to jail. All right. If there's anybody we can beat up, he's got accused of a short selling scheme. Everybody knows he's been sanctioned already by the SEC. He's a bad actor. They need to the DOJ and the Secret Service needs to go in there and take away his assets and throw his ass in jail. He needs to prove, how did he make all this money? All right. Let's see how you made all the money. That's it. Big mouth. Let's see how you did it. He can't prove it because he stole it all.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, William, I'll let you go.
Thank you.
It's almost 4 o'clock. It's 2:44. I'm sorry, I thought it was 3:44. I says, man, I'm talking a long time.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't want to keep you. Go relax. Go have a cup of soup. And again, people, like I said, if you lent out your shares, I don't care if it's 500 shares. Take it back. Take it back. There's no reason to let these guys try to take advantage of, of everyone here. They're on the ropes. The SEC knows about them. If you have another idea for the truck, I think we have another 20 days, 30 days, and the document should be out for the holiday. And everyone will get a good chance to see. We'll have it right out there in prime time for everybody to see and learn about Lynn Partners. And we'll get them all exposed. Then if you have any ideas for the truck, we're always open. Please pass it along. And William, go relax and have a cup of tea, and we'll speak to you tomorrow.
All right.
All right.
Thank you, Ham. Thank you.
Have a good day.
Call ended.
So my dog is asleep. I'll try to answer some questions and all that. I am feeling heady, or heady's probably the wrong word. I'm feeling loopy is probably a better word. But hey, life is such, as my dad used to say. Life is such. Let's see what some of your comments are, and I'll try to think. I'm going to probably go lay down. But we can go a little bit longer. The one gentleman was saying, I forget who it was, Tom, I think, that he has worthless GTII dividends. I don't know why you do this to yourself, Tom, or why others do it with mmtlp. It may prove at some point in the future that the shares of GTII become worth, all shares become worth next to nothing. Maybe that happens. I don't want to get caught up in a rah-rah of projecting, but it's just not true. You have what you were given, which is a restricted share of common stock for every 10 shares of common stock in GTII, which you own. Now, the reason you were given a restricted share, and there's plenty of people here who disagree with me, but GTII was in the middle of a short squeeze a year ago. And say, oh, you can't prove it? Well, prove I'm wrong. Fidelity was paying 1,000%. Wells Fargo was not allowing a purchase of stock, and the whole street was slow walking the exercise of the special dividend, special warrant as dividend, as warrant as special dividend. Instead, COSM came along, one of two companies that have actually taken money out of the market during this time. The other is GNS, best I can tell. And it turns out the whole pitch was completely wrong on COSM. One guy's, oh, shocked, and the rest are horrified. Well, all right. It was innocent. But if you're a novice, don't pretend to be an expert. But anyway, GTII was in the middle of a squeeze, and three gentlemen, one is the CEO, one goes, and he's a good guy. He's got good abilities to project. And the other is an IR guy who has his own family to raise. Said to you, hurry over here. Well, you did. I gobbled some up too, got out very quickly after I realized this is insanity. And I gave cautions, but by then it was too late. Well, I wish we had all followed his advice. We could have gotten out at 4 and say bought back later. Well, a lot of it is self-fulfilling. It's self-fulfilling. I don't know why he gave the advice that way. I don't know why he thought that the squeeze wasn't going to happen. He made sure it didn't happen. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. We're all free agents. He had his way of doing it. You lost a shitload of money in COSM. Oh no, some people made money. Yeah, I don't know. I know one guy who made a winning trade on every trade. He's no longer on my, no longer comes on. But every trade he did was a winning trade. So what did GTII do, Tom? GTII issued restricted shares on a ratio of 1 restricted common stock share to 10 common shares you own. 6 months ago. Everything has to be done above board. It's simply not true that they're worthless. It's simply, but you can torture yourself. You can torture yourself. Let me see if I can find your post. I may not be able to find it. But why did the company issue to you restricted shares instead of, hey, here, we'll just dilute ourselves and give common? Then that would have been worth something. Trying to find it. Tom, I can't highlight it, so I can't give you glory. But anyway, the company issued a restricted share. The restriction comes off now. And you're saying because you can't sell it right away, it's worthless. Okay. We'll put that down as one definition of stock trading in America. As soon as the restriction is meant to come off a stock and the brokerage firms are having a difficult time doing it, and therefore they don't price the shares and they don't allow you to trade them, they're worthless. We'll just, okay, so that's one definition of worthless. If your brokerage firm is having a hard time locating stock, if your brokerage firm doesn't want to commit securities fraud out in the open, as West Christian is monitoring everything, if your brokerage firm learned last year that a squeeze was in place and they used up their ability to say, oh, hey, we didn't know any better. Now they know better. SEC filing right here. This is his words. When they knew or were reckless in not knowing. Reckless in not knowing. That's a standard Fidelity and other firms have now, established a year ago and established again now. But anyway, the brokerage firm can issue it. And all of a sudden, Tom, you're surprised? I mean, people say that there's impossible that GTII has such a huge outstanding shares. But you've been told by Tom Ronk and, well, not in the case of GTII, but by Ham, that it's over 400 million shares, naked short in GTII. Who knows? But you're surprised that the system, which had a hard time exercising warrants last year, which was in your benefit, but then you want to protect those 3 guys that took the pressure off? Ooh, let's have some fun. It'll go from 20 cents to 80 cents and and I made $1 million. Well, this is a serious game. It's not one where you should be coming in and listening to I guess anybody, which means including me. But you got to start somewhere, I suppose. But I'm telling you, the reason GTII gave out those dividends isn't because they like you, Tom. It's not because you were the best citizen of GTII world. They did it to help you catch out the shorts in shares of GTII. Fidelity needs to deliver real shares to honor that restricted share issued to you. That means Fidelity has to buy shares, or Fidelity has a choice of giving to you a IOU that says, hey, this represents a title for one Mercedes-Benz 2022. And this represents a title for a 2022 Mercedes-Benz. And this doesn't, on infinitum. The whole point is to try to catch out Fidelity. But if you want to go boo-hoo, it's worthless, I'll accept it. It's worthless. I'll just accept it. Now, you didn't pay anything for it. It's worthless. A girl gave you a kiss on the way home and she didn't return your call. Tough. Now, what I think it's going to do is going to cause a scramble for shares. Will they buy time? Absolutely, they'll buy time. Will they drag it out? Absolutely. Remember, all they have to do is keep selling stock that does not exist, making fun of you, and then as the price stays down, wearing us down, and the next thing you know, they do a reverse split. And ain't life grand? So anyway, I'm sorry you feel that the GTII dividend is worthless. I'll accept your analysis. The other thing someone asked about was actually, I'm not sure someone did here. It might have been
call from Peter Milvado.
It might have been just before. Hang on one second. Hang on one second.
Call ended.
All right. There it is. That I did see it. I thought I saw it. Okay. I was going to say I couldn't remember where I saw. I thought I saw someone mention logic, and then I couldn't remember. The gentleman that just called me, normally I talk to him about logic. So there's more than one. There's many here. Okay. There's many here. Here's what I think's going on with logic. And I think it's good. Okay, so ASPA is $27, but it halted, as you know. And then logic is 20 cents, so which is incredible to me. So I'm going to go from the negative. Let's be brutal. Let's look at it respectfully. the way Tom looks at his GTII dividend, worthless. Let's look at everything here as worthless as possible. Let me do it as worthless as possible. So in other words, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it from the opposite direction. I've never done it from this direction before. So Logic is trading for 20 cents, let's call it 21 cents. 21 cents. I mean, there it is, 0.207. Now, if you go to, unfortunately, it hasn't been put out for some reason. I'm looking here. No. But you can find it online that they released a press release. And we can quickly go through, though, a couple of points. The company had it's going to be hard for you to see, but you can find it here. There, I can enlarge it. 105 million shares outstanding at the vote. Both votes passed last week. And so they released a press release, which I haven't seen anywhere, but they released it. It's on the SEC. And it says here, let me get it here so I can read it better. Sorry, I apologize for coughing. I know that's not a good sound. And now that it's happening, okay, let's see if that helps. Okay, so this was the press release that was released, and it's dated October 25. Logic, a leading provider of digital consumer acquisition solutions, announced that its stockholders have voted to approve the previously announced pending merger transaction of Logic's digital marketing subsidiary, DLQ Inc., with Aubrey Spac, a Delaware special purpose acquisition company. The vote was conducted in a special meeting of Logic shareholders held on October 23rd, and this was for stockholders of record as of September 25. The shareholders of Aubrey, when you put money in a SPAC, you can redeem your investment, and many did, most did. In fact, after the redemptions, Aubrey was left with 41,555 shares outstanding. The merger is expected to close in the fourth quarter. Voila. And DataLogic is a US-based provider of e-commerce and digital consumer acquisition solutions by simplifying digital advertising. Blah, 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 blah. All right. Well, anyway, that was basically it. The amount the number of shares I'm going to write down 105 284 314. Okay. Now, what is going to happen? Before I was telling you it would happen this coming month or that month or that month. It's already been voted on. It's been voted on last week. It's been approved. There's a press release put out that it's been approved. So your one share of logic will become, hey, handsome. We'll use the new symbol. It's going to become collective audience on the NASDAQ. And normally I spend my time talking about that. We will talk about it, but I'm going to ignore it for right now. And I'm just going to pretend like Tom's, and I say it respectfully, Tom, I do, view on the dividend, it's worthless. Let's just assume that data logic is worthless. That Aubrey Spac bought a pig in the poke, completely worthless for this beginning. So, oh, I miswrote that. See, I'm out of it. Okay, that's the new symbol. But just ignore that for now. So it's been approved. That risk is gone. That's happened. It's been approved. Now, ASPA the deal was done for 11,400,000 shares of ASPA at $10, locked in stone. The shorts, as much as they want to do to destroy it, that was the deal. So if we anyway, I'll do that in a second. So then the other side you're getting is the shell. So you're going to get collective audience, NASDAQ, and you're going to get the shell. All right, let's assume this is worthless. It's just, God, this is, why'd they even bother? Just totally worthless. All this time and we just end up with something worthless. All right, so what's the shell worth? That's what the shorts are doing. The shorts are shorting logic right now because the shell, do you know what a shell is? That means it's an over-the-counter company. It's in good standing. Its filings are on time. It had officers, and I assume would, up until the point a reverse merger candidate came in. So it's an existing company without any real business anymore, but it's in good shape. And this is a way for private companies to float without going through the non-existent investment banking process under Gary Gensler. There is no investment banking in the over-the-counter world. It's just a ripoff. So what's the shell worth? Well, the shorts are saying it's obviously worth nothing. They just gave the worthless, completely worthless piece of junk technology. They've been working on that for years, and it's worthless. They just gave that to Aubrey Spac. So what do you expect the shell to be worth? It's got to be worthless too. That's how these brainiacs, the shorts, think. So anyway, let's look at it from this standpoint. Right now, you can still buy this stock. You can still buy this stock at 21 cents. Right now. You will get a record date probably later this week. where for one piece of paper at 20, for this piece of paper, you end up with these two pieces of paper. We're going to pretend this one is, I'm just got worthless junk. It's worthless. So what's this shell worth? Well, right now, nothing. It's given up all of its vitals. It's given up all of its power. And it's just sitting there. So what is it worth? 300,000, 100,000? If someone bought it outright? Or has Brent continued to talk with the creme de la creme of companies who want to go public? And it can be any industry. It can be anything an investment banker brings to him. But at the beginning of this year, he let a deal expire that was worth 30, 40, 50 cents a share, maybe more, to you for your reverse merger. It's my assessment that whatever they do here is going to be equivalent or better than that. So I'm going to guess 40, 50, 60 cents a share is what's next. 40, 50, or 60 cents. Now, do you believe me? Nah, come on. I've been hearing too many things. It's always this. Nothing ever happens. It's worthless. Well, if we go with the low number, 40 cents a share, you're paying 20 cents a share. What it means is there has to be a company that on the, 10, 15% that's retained by us, by all of us, it's worth about I'll use 50 cents a share to us. Well, the stock is trading, that's the midpoint. The stock's trading at 20 cents. Prove me. I come from Missouri. Show it to me. I'd rather wait and buy it for 49 cents when I know it's going to be worth 50 cents. Okay, all right, I get all that. But the fact is, we haven't heard what's going to be announced on the shelf. Why not? Well, the vote had to happen first. And then you need a record date. So if you ignore the data logic start, you're paying for a stock that's going to have a reverse merger candidate worth, I think, 50 cents a share. Out of the gate. And that record date could be, it hasn't been announced yet. I don't know the name. I make some assumptions, but in fairness, until it's announced, I don't know that it's happening. But 50 cents, you're paying 20 cents. How can I say it a different way? You're doubling your money just by logic announcing that they've done this deal, and then they're going to do a reverse merger. You're doubling your money. Now, will it stay at that price? They did the reverse split, so it'll be a much higher price. But on the net, will it stay at that price? I think so. But could it go down? Sure. That's what Wall Street does now. They sell everything you buy. But anyway, so that's on the weak side of the trade. On the weak side of the trade, you double your money. Maybe in the next 3, 4, 5 weeks. This part, which I said, let's pretend it's worthless. There's 100. The valuation of the shares issued $114 million issued to buy Data Logic. And I just read out the number of shares as of September 23rd. So if we divide that by, I slightly messed up, but anyway, it works out to $1.08. If you divide that many shares into the 114 million assigned value, works out $1.08. Now, the problem is the stock is trading at 27 right now. Let's just get that number in our head. 11,400,000 times 27 divided by 105,284. Okay, so the two values at $10 a share. Now remember, ASPA traded at 11 for months. But using $10 a share, it's 108. Using $27, it's 292. Let's stick to the low number, 108. Now, I'll give you the negatives. We're all about negatives. Why is it worth 108? It's worth 108 because Aubrey Spac says so, basically. It's their management team, their study, they assign the value. It's a NASDAQ company. My guess is the ratio of the split, it's not a split because we're not giving up anything. But in a way, it's a little bit like a reverse split. We're going to get for every 9.25 shares we own, we'll get 1 share of CAUD, in my judgment. So on the low end, that works out to $1.08 a share. But right now it's trading at 292. So first question is, well, why is that reasonable? And, I guess you could say it's reasonable because the deal's been out there over a year. It's been studied. It's been, the numbers have been gone through. You got a great management team, etc. For the higher price, I think it gets into the realm of, was there a bit of a short squeeze going on or not? Or could it be worth more? And on the bullish case for it to be worth more, there's at least 2, if not 3 additional deals to be rolled up into CAUD now. Again, that's in my judgment. The why not announce it sooner? Because they needed the vote. The vote happened last week. So if we take the low number of $1.08 and we take the shell at 50 cents, you got $1.60, and the stock's trading at 21 cents. I cannot understand why people don't buy the stock. Even if you assume that Aubrey Spac, it's a bunch of brain dead idiots, and the only smart people out there are the short sellers at Ionic. Oh, wait a minute, they don't short sell. I got a letter from their lawyer. They don't short sell. Well, someone was, but it wasn't they. Whoever it was, other than Ionic. I don't know why people aren't buying, But I guess we just need more clarity. And as clarity comes, there'll be a buying opportunity. My own strategy will be to wait for the record date, see how the shell trades. And if it trades up, I might get out. Why? Because the shell might have a squeeze. It might. Not a big one. On the Aubrey Spac side, the CAUD side, that could have a little squeeze too, but I'm not anticipating it. I'm more worried that they'll bring the stock price down from 27. But where does it settle? Does it settle at 15, 21, 25? I don't know. But it easily could settle well above the $10 price. All of this, I would expect today, after the market, tomorrow, there'll be an announcement. Record date, November 2nd. Effective date, November 5th. And then we're off to the races. I wouldn't be honest with you if I talked, one gentleman I spent a lot of time talking about this all with, he doesn't believe that there's large naked short selling that goes on. Well, I hope he's right. That's one thing that keeps me up, is thinking, well, what if the shorts just decide to naked short here? But I don't think they will. There's no deal. There's no investment out. So I think you're going to have a series of good news. The reason I would sell the shell potentially is if the company is a one-off merger candidate, I don't know how they're going to grow it particularly, but we'll have to find out. On the CAUD side, you can't sell it all right away. So you kind of have to hold on. I think it's going to be incumbent on Brent to talk about all the good things and keep this stock up over the next 2 months. Sorry, I'm losing it. What if they beat it down? I'm not buying Logic. All my damn money is in GTI. That's fine. I think Logic is a 6 to 10 on your money if you hang on and everything works out. I think in the short run, it might just be a double or triple, and then you might want to get out. But you could easily get a double or triple in GTI or Finger, in 45 minutes. I'm gonna, if you excuse me for 1 second, I'm just gonna get some orange juice because I'm out of it. One good boy. I had to pick one good boy out of the whole world. Just one good boy out of the whole world, it would be you. Oh boy. Oh. My dog was stuck outside. He was looking in the wrong part of the hinge of the door, but he's an old boy now. Now he's in. Thank you for letting me do this. Okay. None of my brokers will let me buy Logic. Very interesting. Maybe something more is going on. Do we have a record date? No. I read you the press release that was put out on.
Call from McLaren.
I guess I'm on edge. That was put out by was put on the website of the SEC, but it didn't. No, there's no record date yet. I would expect that announcement either today or tomorrow, but it could happen. You know, it could happen anytime. Oh, Vanden Place. They're just BSing you. There's nothing to reach out to GTII about. If you get off the phone with that kind of excuse, you know, there's nothing to reach out to GTII, but good for them. It's restricted shares. Schwab is the one that settled so-called settled trades that weren't settled. Oh, Liberty they have to talk to. Well, then maybe that makes a little more sense. Because the one difference they're trying to do, just like they did with the warrant, is they're trying to make the stocks go through Liberty stock transfer, which is a reckoning. And maybe that's what the back office doesn't understand how to do because they've never had to do it before. It's possible. Yeah, put some vodka in there. I miss those days. I mean, in a way, I miss them. In a way, I'm glad it's over. In another way, it turns me inside out. I think TA Strupp right there, your last comment, there are no stocks. That's more accurate than you know. 6:15, I haven't gotten my computer yet, no. I don't know how much longer I'll be able to go tonight. It's possible that they're loaning stock out without borrowing from you, but it's also possible they're just loaning stock out. They have these fancy terms, rehypothecation and you know, here, read this brochure and we'll handle everything else. There was a guy, very successful broker. I always heard about him. I only met him a couple of times. Anyway, it's a long story. I'll leave most of the story out. But he used to take a trip to Hong Kong every year. But one thing he did one year, he was late for his trip, but he had this big meeting, and this woman came in with all of her stock. Well, not yet. She came in with her index cards or whatever system she had. And she wanted his advice. So he spent an hour with her. And by the time it was all over with, she said, "So what do you recommend?" And his comment was, "Well, before I give you my advice, let's first place the shares in your account here at Merrill Lynch." And so it took her a while to do that. He went to Hong Kong, came back, and had another big account. But that was the trend on Wall Street. Let's just bring in the assets, bring in the assets, bring in the assets. And that's all it's about now, lending them out. They don't care about you. I don't think that's true. But if it is true, that's pretty exciting. Let me translate that. You're saying that Nextbridge are making 300 barrels of oil a day now, which I didn't know. But if if true, that means the 6 or 7 wells they drilled all worked in a pattern. And I assume they're using tanks to store the oil. So they may be making that many barrels a day. They not necessarily have sold it yet, or by now maybe they have. You know that if you're putting it out already, that once it's sold, it usually takes 30 days minimum, but maybe 60 days to get a distribution. But Nextbridge doesn't owe you anything. They do not owe you anything as an mmtlp holder. As a Nextbridge holder, you could argue they should pay that out. I wouldn't. I would use all cash to maintain my team, to maintain my leases, to drill another pattern of 6 or 7 wells, so I could get it from 300 to 600 barrels a day, and without borrowing money, or without having to issue a lot of equity or whatever. I don't know their financing. And then after that, I would want to keep that cash and do another pattern, and then I have 900 barrels a day, and then maybe the next time I can do 2 more patterns, and then I've got 1,500 barrels a day, and then I can do 3 patterns every single time for the next few months, and at the end of 6 months, maybe I have I don't know, I can't do the arithmetic quite quickly, but maybe instead of right now having 300 barrels a day, I can do a drilling program over the next 6 months where it's 30,000 barrels. I'm sure I exaggerated way too high to the upside, but you get my point. They should not be paying that cash out. They should be drilling. And, $85 oil works wonders for value. So I wouldn't want to be a finger on a steady climb. Yep. I'm sure it's going to do great. I agree with that, Deacon Blues. Um, I feel like Andy Griffith on a Bottle of Hooch, because on my thought process, I think something, then it stops, and then I think something else, and then I hope this isn't the start of old age. Oh, I see. Yeah. I read as much as 300,000. It can't be. They cannot be producing that much right now. They cannot be. But I could be wrong. I've been away, but I don't see it. I don't think they could be producing 300,000 barrels a day. Although you don't say a day, so I got to be fair on that. Out of 7 wells that are shallow, I don't. The most I'd say is maybe 1,000. That's too much. I don't know. If it's 7 wells producing, I think 400,000, 500,000 a day might be strong. So I just don't know. But it's exciting. I'm glad to hear there's production. And if it's good, you guys are in Flynn, in like Flynn. Me too. I have some shares. But remember, for MMTLP, they don't owe us any of that. Okay, let's see. Price spike soon. Maybe. That would be great for you guys. That'd be great for you guys. Wells Fargo told you to call GTII. So what we're really getting is an education into how corrupt the brokerage systems are, or how inept, or both. So Trader Bob, you should tell Wells Fargo that it's very simple. I bought X number of shares through your bank. You assured me that you settled my trades. I put up cash, and you said you assured me you settled the trades. I have no reason to believe that in my account are not real shares of GTII. To hold GTII in your account as real shares entitled me to 1 restricted share per 10 shares that I own. You, as my banker, received a corporate action from GTII. They distributed these shares, and it clearly states that, and I don't know, I haven't read it, but it clearly states the mechanism and how to effect this issuance. As I understand it, the only way I get my 1 share per 10 is if my shares are real and held at AST. What the hell, Wells Fargo, having me call GTII has to do with anything? It's just a way of delaying. And all right, I wouldn't let them get away with that. I obviously, Skinny, it would depend on what the agreement said, but I understand you can recall your shares at any time. You have a right to sell them, and maybe you just want to make sure they're free and clear so you can sell them at a higher price. But yeah, you can recall them. Yeah, exactly. It's all excuses. It's all excuses. Oh gosh, now this is negative. So what's the deal with Aubrey Spac being hung 3 days since oh God. I don't know why Aubrey Spac was halted. I hope in the 2 million shares that were traded that the financer of $5 million to the deal, which was 2 hedge funds, friends of Peter Bourdais, it is my hope that financer got their money out. And if they got their 5 million out, probably in that case, a profit of $20 million or more as well, then we don't have any further issues with that financer. What an expensive bit of financing from a friend, but at least it would be over with. Why would Aubrey Spac stop trading? I would guess because it doesn't exist anymore. There's 41,555 shares remaining. And I would just assume that trading was halted for that reason. But I don't know. I don't know why they halted the SPAC. I can't correct all of the fraud on Wall Street. I just can't do it. But in this case, it may just be as simple as it's going to be trading as CAUD. Maybe tomorrow, maybe Friday. I don't know. We just have to wait for the next. And yes, it's been 3 days. It's just the indignities that they pile on us. 3 days of not trading. I don't know what to say. It'll be over soon is all I can think of saying. I think the current price does reflect, but you've got, there's a mechanism in these SPACs I don't quite understand, and I'm admitting it, because they go up. Big league. Now, do they come all the way back down is the question. Not all of them do. And I'm not sure this one will, because there's 3 more companies to roll up into the CAUD. There was a ham call today. Yeah, I went. That's interesting. I went through some arithmetic using $27 ASP. I got $2.92 a share. $2.92. But I'm not willing to say that $27 will maintain its strength, but it could. To repeat myself, Aubrey Spac purchased Data Logic from Logic, changed the name to Collective Audience. The management team have been screening dozens of companies, and my understanding is there's something like 2 or 3 or 4 new companies to roll in to Collective Audience soon. So I think your calculation is good. It makes no sense that Logic wouldn't be skyrocketing. Well, yes. Here's Logic. Logic decided to sell to Aubrey Spac Data Logic, and they sold it. Boom. Data Logic moves out, goes over to what's now called Collective Audience. Gone. So the entire engine of the company sold and now belongs to Aubrey Spac. It's now called Collective Audience. What does the shell have? Nothing. The shell has nothing. The shorts say, we've been selling this stock from 70 cents downward. Of course, we're legal. We're the one troop of shorts that are legal. But we've been selling it downward. Why don't we just keep selling? Logic has nothing in it. They just put the entire engine over to CAUD. That's why the stock is being sold. That's why it's under pressure. That's why it stays around 20 cents. I mean, there may be something in it somewhere that I miss, which is possible. The only thing is I can think of missing is that the new company is completely worthless, which I think, I forget who just did the calculation. I think it's right. It's probably worth $1.08 to $2.90. Just use $1 a share. And then the shell, we can only speculate. And that's, by the time that bit of information comes in, there'll be a little bit less uncertainty. But as I've pointed out, I'm highly confident that you're going to see a reverse merger of a company that gives you 50 cents a share in value in the shell. So your point is well taken, but I think the shorts are looking at it like they don't know that there's going to be a reverse merger, and that could take forever. And if they destroy the stock price, maybe they can destroy the deal. Theirs is a game of destruction, and they always win. But I think the reason that Logic is down is that the shorts are selling because they see an opportunity to buy back cheaper because there's nothing in the shell. What will change that? Well, when you get a record date, ostensibly, when you can buy 20 cents, you can buy $1.08 of the Aubrey Spac, plus you qualify for 50 cents, call it $1.50. in paper, 2 pieces of paper, and you're only paying 20 cents for it, 21 cents, people start buying. So let's say they say the record date is Wednesday, and these numbered, let's use $1 here and $50. Let's call it 75 cents. People are willing to run it up to 75 cents. Well, this goes to 75 cents before the record date. And then the question is, do you just sell it, take your quick triple, or do you wait for the record date so that you get these shares and maybe have a chance of selling these shares before they collapse in price the day after the record date? It's all gamemanship at that point. Oh, Bohemian. I don't want to be Bohemian. I just want to be... Yeah, Dos Equis. Oh gosh, Arca is doing a fantastic job. I like that, Deacon Blues. I bought Logic. I want to say last week, but I don't even remember what I did last week. But I think I did. Anyway, I've maxed out. I would buy a little bit more if I got a payout. What I would do is I would buy Logic. I'd buy Logic, and I'd plan on holding this because it could be worth $3 or $1. And then this one could have a little bit of a squeeze. I don't know what's going in here. I mean, I have an idea, but I really don't know what's going in here. But it might be a one-off. So there might not be future growth. On the other hand, if it's something I remember hearing about months ago, it might have enough growth in it to grow. It's going to have a management team, as far as I know. Anyway, we got to find out. Just don't know. But what I would do probably is I would buy this, which I did. I bought. I would hold these through the record date. And then the question is, do I sell this or part of this? But I think I would hold this one right here. Now, the caution I would give, we'll read it as we go, is how it trades. Sorry, I'm... Martin Shen. Yeah. Well, Lynn must be pleased. All right, Dos Equis. Are you saying I'm dying? I guess we're all dying. Well, Jack, I was thinking about that. Someone said, and of course I probably overreacted, said that I think fingers like GME. And I was thinking it because I had no choice but to think. And what it hit me that what the guy might have been asking me is maybe they have finger under control the way they have GME under control. And it's possible. It's possible. I don't think so, but they certainly have GME under control. Four to 6 weeks, all about time. It's always about time, so they can go locate shares. All right, let me see what else. It's, I think those are the two things I wanted to talk about. In general, I'm sorry, I'm out of it. In general, we've got November, December left. There will be opportunities to trade our stocks, to establish our losses, maybe get a better price on the way back in, or double up first and then get out of the original. Anyway, establishing tax losses, harvesting tax losses, I think that's what we should focus on for the next 2 months, because I think you're going to make money in mmtlp. And if you're in Nextbridge, you will. And you'll need that. You'll need that loss to offset the capital gains. Of course, it all depends on how the deal's done. What's this? You don't have to sell to get the dividend. You don't have to sell to get the dividend. I wouldn't be selling GTII now. One thing, if you have cash, you could do is double your position in GTII right now, buy double, and then in 31 days, sell your original position, which gives you a tax loss and allows you, and then you still have your same starting number of shares. And the reason to do that that way is you're not out of the stock. If you sold the stock now and waited 31 days, who knows? You could miss your dream. Errol Flynn or Elmer Fudd? Yeah, I think we agreed on that. I think your arithmetic's good. Let's see what Trader Bob. Exactly, Skinny Whale. Exactly. What's up with the GTI dividend? 6 months ago, the company issued restricted shares, 1 for 10 to you. They directed that for delivery in some sort of mechanism, it has to go through your through the transfer agent, and we're at that time now. And so the brokerage firms are going to start scrambling. Stephen He. I know I know a guy named Stephen He. I wonder if it's the same one. He not very good person. He. All right, I'm just gonna I'm just going to 4 o'clock. I'll see if there's any grab. Hey, put my comment back up. Can't remember your comment. Yeah, I need to go lay down. I need to. Thank you, Oregon Dew. Mary, Queen of Arkansas. All right. What did Moody Waters say that was right? Okay, I'm gonna. Broker's Gone Wild. I'm gonna see if there's any questions at the bottom. And I think I'm gonna sign off because it's been a nerve-shattering experience for me, sir. The double position, Sol original is a great idea. But not for long-term holders because you lose the tax break. Oh, Dustin, I'm not saying sell MMTLP. You're right, and that's why I'd like to have a tax advisor on. Dustin, if you are a long-term shareholder of you own your shares long-term, your tax benefit is only 20% plus Obamacare. So like 24% at the most. So yeah, you're right. You got to factor that in. So none of the advice is one size fits all. Don't shave. Well, you've got AMC tax losses. You got that going for you. But see, AMC is a case where you could sell AMC now and buy it back in 31 days. I'm sure you get it cheaper. But if you're uncomfortable doing that, maybe you just double your position now. And in 31 days, sell the original part. And then you're always in it. Well, straight facts. The best answer to your question is, I don't know. But I'll try to answer it because I've tried to do it for myself. If you have 6,000 of logic, I tell you, you could round that up to 10,000 tomorrow morning for another $800. It's just so cheap. But anyway, let's just go with 6,000 shares of logic. I can only estimate this number. I'm going to guess. Yeah, that's pretty good. You did a good job. I'm going to guess you're going to end up with about 650 shares of CAUD. And I just have to make assumptions, and I'm going to assume it's trading at $15. It could be trading at $30. It could be trading at 10, but I'll just say 15. That's lower than where it is now. And a rough number. And then so you start with 6,000 shares of logic, and that 6,000 stays the same, 6,000 for the time being. And then your distribution of CAUD, I think, will be worth 650 shares of CAUD, possibly worth $9,700 all by itself, right at the get-go. Then I think this 6,000 shares of logic will be reversed. And I'm going to guess they're going to reverse it by 50. So I think you'll end up with 120 shares there. And the shares will be trading at around $60 a share. So, unfortunately, Straight Facts, it's hard to give you a straight answer yet, but I bet tonight, there'll be a press release, or first thing in the morning tomorrow, or it'll be Wednesday, or it'll be Thursday or Friday. It's all waiting on lawyers to do it. But once it's done, we'll be able to answer those questions. But yeah, I think you've got a pretty good idea of what's going to happen. All right. Yeah, I missed you guys too. I agree with that, Skinny. I think that the rules, I'll say it differently. I think the banksters are getting the hell out of town, and they were just holding up the edifice long enough to steal more. I think your banks are thieves and they're stealing from you. All right, I'm gonna sign off. I'm losing it. My broker transferred mmlp shares to AST without my consent. I think number one, you don't have to call it out any more than you already have. Because if it turns out that there's a deal that's better by remaining in mmtlp, you'll be able to say to the court, hey, I didn't ask him to do this. If you get yourself all involved and then you make a decision, they're going to say, well, you told us to do this. So just don't worry about that. And secondly, I think you're just going to be much happier to own the real shares. Everyone's so convinced this mmtlp is something. It's nothing. mmtlp is nothing. It's not an asset. It's not a concept. It's not a PowerPoint. It's not a management team. It's not money. It's not a stock. It's nothing. Just a placeholder for you or me as a indication of how much Wall Street owes you to settle that trade. But I think owning Nextbridge at AST, I think you've got the best of both worlds now. You didn't ask for it, but you're in the best place to be. And if for some reason you think you could have gotten a better deal, you say, hey, court, reverse it. I didn't ask for it. So just leave it alone. The best thing to own are the Nextbridge shares. Because they're real. They're real. mmlp is not real. That's exactly right. You got it. You got it. I would add to your Nextbridge share, it has to be non-diluted. Non-diluted. I like a hot toddy. Sounds great. A beer makes me calm. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, it's perfect, Don Jay. You got the best of both worlds right there. All right, so I'm gonna sign off. I can give it 3 minutes, but I don't think I made any sense with anything I said, and of course my dog wants me to walk him, but I can't do it. I can't not do it. I'm not going to be able to, Lucky. Not going to be able to. Poor guy. I know. He's not interested in how much I love him. He's just interested in treats. All right, I'm going to go. I didn't see Jenny on here, so I pray that Jenny L is doing well. And it was nice. Arca had me on earlier. It's very nice that he did that. And Busy Brands, what a trooper. What a trooper. And I appreciated everybody coming on here. It's nice that Anna came on too. I've asked Anna to be a guest. And she said yes. Yay. But not tonight. Not tonight. So anyway, peace to everyone. Peace, love, and happiness. Djokovic didn't play today, but Ben Shelton lost. That's might be good for the Joker. He's got a tall task ahead of him to stay number one. All right. One more minute. I love you so much. I love you so much. I wish I could put him in my pocket, take him everywhere I go. Yeah, AST is pretty good. Once they transfer, they give you, an automatic bell, and it works pretty well. Automatic phone tree. All right, so I'm going to say good night, and let's remember to say prayers for all the babies in the world, everywhere in the world. Good night.